This is the Rubber Boots Podcast, Season 8 of the podcast, brought to you by betsafe.net.
betsafe.net.
Thank you for joining us, we'll sure you have no regret. Even we can't believe we're not canceled yet. We're gonna tell some stories, we're gonna have a good time, you know for sure, we're gonna have a laugh. This is the podcast. This is the podcast. 100% free.
100%. That's it.
This is the podcast. This is the podcast.
That's it.net.
This is the pod.
That's it.
This is the podcast. This is the pod. What? This is the podcast. This is the pod.
betsafe.net.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Rubber Boots Podcast, brought to you by betsafe.net and our friends at TaylorMade, providing a lovely stealth driver for the winner of the Gold Bar League. I just got home, and I've not only have I not read your missive, Christoph, but
That's good.
I don't even have any stories about varmints in the house to tell. Oh, I do. I had to steal the computer. Brooksie's not too happy with me right now because Brooksie's become obsessed with the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, really?
Wow.
Nice.
Do you guys have any friends or family members obsessed with the Johnny Depp trial?
I'm following it, but I wouldn't say obsessed. I get the Cole's notes.
Brooksie got onto this late, maybe 3-4 days ago, and every time I come home, she is yelling at her computer screen something about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
What side is she on?
That's my question.
She seems to be on the Johnny Depp side, which it feels like most people are in this situation. I don't want to pass judgment because I don't know enough.
Yeah.
I want to pass judgment. Doesn't this just seem like two crazy people with way too much money and fame?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there you go. Because I think everyone leans Johnny, but at the same time, when you hear him talk up there, it's like, what the hell's
But
going on?
I felt like Johnny Depp had a bit of a run there where he was pretty bad news. Everyone had turned on him.
Well,
And
he says
seemed to be sort of making a little bit of a comeback.
he says he had a drinking issue, right? That is what I understand.
Fair.
100%. Of these short videos that I've seen,
From
yes.
the video I saw where he describes where she throws a whole bottle of vodka at him, it smashes behind him, and his response is to get up and get another bottle of vodka. Yes, he had a drinking problem.
Here's what I'm left with in the short tidbits that I've seen of this, is that he is, sometimes I think, movie stars play up the image of the movie star, the reckless lifestyle and everything, and you think it's kind of probably BS, right? And behind the scenes, they're just idiots like us. And Johnny Depp is like exactly what you would
He's
think
far gone, yeah.
a movie star kind of guy is. Like, he is, he is out there. He was chugging in the one video I saw, which I guess she was taping without his knowledge.
Yeah.
He was breaking stuff left, right, and center. And then he poured like this giant goblet of wine and chucked it down. I don't know. Anyway, Brooksie was updating me today. I think she's catching up on old ones. You can watch it live, I believe, on YouTube. Can you not?
On YouTube, yes.
Really? Wow.
That I guess Amber Heard, she got $14 million, I think, from Johnny Depp in the settlement, and she claimed to have given $7 million to a children's hospital, and did not.
She said that she was going to. She said, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to make this big donation, and then she has not followed through. Apparently, all the money that's been donated has been, because I guess she started dating Elon Musk after Johnny Depp, and so he threw some money in for her. And now she's like, I don't have any money left.
I was just about to say,
possible?
Were we just talking about Elon last week and saying that he was supposed to solve world hunger and didn't? So now it's ironic that she's with this guy who's also not keeping his word.
Well, she's not with him now.
Not
right?
anymore.
No.
Musk is with
They-
that singer, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
But in fairness to Amber Heard, I'm pretty sure that if I win the lottery this week, the $34 million, I will declare a large charitable donation at the press conference, and I will run out of money. So I can see I can see it could happen to great people.
The Puffy Fund.
Yeah.
The large number of charity sort of scams out there through taxes. Some financial guy was explaining something to me with certain stocks, how you buy a stock at a certain price and do a charity donation and end up getting more money back than you would have in the first place. And I'm sure this happens all over. I mean, I guess if it benefits charities, it's okay, but it sounds like the greatest scam ever. Anyhow, I'm the guy who makes the charity donations and then loses the slip.
Yeah.
And doesn't remember to.
Brooksie, did you see that $50 I'm looking for?
My tax receipt.
Brooksie had $5 I donated when the guy was at the door the other day
To save the children.
I'm wearing a sweater today for the listeners who are just listening and not watching on YouTube, and I don't know. I usually wear hoodies, and I find myself drawn to sweaters now. Am I entering my sweater years and exiting my hoodie years?
I am taking
That's
you more
potentially
seriously
true.
today.
Yeah, I think it gives me a little more cred as an aging gentleman than maybe the hoodie.
Don't you
Puffy,
guys
is that a hoodie on you? Or?
Oh, I got the hoodie.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't you think hoodies are
Go ahead.
played out? Seriously. Like everybody tell you around it. No? I don't have... Look, I'm not wearing a hoodie.
You know what's played out, Lester? That logo behind you compared to this one.
That's right.
Hey, you won a game.
I
Congratulations.
should
15 more to
have.
go.
I should have sold this as the playoff edition of the Rubber Boots podcast, brought to you by BetSafe.net. Also, Lester, the logo, by the way, that Stoff is referring to again to our listeners, which, despite the great work, I'm sorry, I'm drinking a smoothie and I just got a chunk of
Papaya?
flaxseed or something in the
Let's hope.
smoothie. Or occasionally I'll put the dates in the smoothie, and the dates will not be de-pitted. And when the dates are not de-pitted, then you end up with big chunks of pits in the smoothie. So, pardon me if I... what I was saying was the vast majority of our fan base still listens to us and doesn't watch us on YouTube. Is that correct, Stoff? Like, is it like a 9-to-1 ratio or something?
Probably, but our viewership is growing.
Okay. Anyway, Lester's got a different background. It's like a library, and he's got a Montreal Canadiens logo behind him.
Looks fake.
What's real?
I just came from doing the Guy Lafleur funeral. That's why I'm late today. Apologies for being late, gentlemen. Because the mass for the funeral takes. I don't want to disparage the Catholic religion. I will not do that here. I'm not a Catholic myself, but their masses just go on a long time.
That might be unfair because it did seem to be a lot of speeches happening.
Yeah, I think.
No, but okay. Here's what you need to know. Billy, our producer, was given a missive for the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was 22 pages long. The missive.
Yeah.
This is not a Quizmaster missive. This is a missive that comes from the people putting on the funeral, the Montreal Canadiens. And page 2 of the missive had all of these speakers on it. So all the speakers were done by page 2 of the missive, all of the eulogies. And then we had 19 pages of mass.
Yeah, but that might be just like for a famous person. Like I've gone to quite a few, I guess, Catholic funeral processions, and it's just like a regular mass. It's about, I'd say 40 minutes. Yeah,
About an hour, 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay, but when they do the thing with the
clink,
thing
clink,
with
The incest? The incest?
Not incest.
Incest. What are you
Incense.
talking about?
There's a hard T at the end. Incest. Hold on
Tell
a
me.
minute. What's the
Tell
good one
me.
and what's the bad
They've
one?
Tell
been trying
me.
to kick that out of the church for a while now.
Hey, I was an altar boy.
That's the confusion.
Well, okay.
I used to have to prepare the incest.
I mean,
Lord.
the Catholic
Incest.
Church has been accused of a lot of things before,
Yeah.
but I do not believe that was
Borderline.
the incense. Is that what you're referring to?
Incense,
The-
Yes.
Oh,
The
that's
incense.
what it is. Yes.
Yes,
Incest.
that was not what I was talking about. I was talking about the little thing.
I think that is what you're talking about.
The bread and the bread and the
Oh,
thing.
communion, you mean?
Communion. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you know what communion is?
I mean,
The little bread and the wine thing. I just couldn't think of the word right now.
That
Okay.
doesn't take that
communion
long.
only lasts as long as there's people
Yeah.
there.
Well, that's the problem. It was Guy Lafleur's funeral, so there was
Blame
1,000
them
people
for
there.
inviting too many people.
This-
Your war on religion is appalling.
Yes.
No, I'm not. I've like everybody can have their own beliefs and desires, and I just
Did I?
No, Jimmy froze.
You guys
for
all
mine.
froze for
Jimmy
me.
only froze for mine. That was weird.
Oh, okay.
You have a someone has a
Vacuum.
vacuum going today. Is it? Mute yourself,
Hang on,
Puffy.
hang on. Let's see. It might be my furnace. My furnace is right beside me. Hang on.
Your furnace.
Well, my
Your
furnace.
furnace.
I'm in my basement. So.
What are you doing the podcast next to your furnace for?
Well, I have no choice. I got contractors upstairs, right? So hang on. I don't even
Oh, it
mute.
might be the contractors, though.
It's a
No,
gorgeous
they're not doing
furnace
anything. They're
room,
outside.
though.
They're.
This is the nicest backdrop you've ever had for a podcast.
Well,
and you're in the
thank you.
furnace room.
Thank you. You want me to turn off the furnace? I'll go turn it off right now.
No, don't turn off the.
Oh, that's fine. It's not.
It's cold out.
Anyway, where was I?
Talking about
Sorry,
incest.
I was
In the church.
Incense.
Sorry. Can't believe you said that. That's hilarious.
I was getting into Catholicism, but what I meant to say was it was nice. The Montreal Canadiens have a track record of honoring their greats better than any other sports franchise, I'm going to say. And this was no different, where they're just pure class the way they honor Guy Lafleur. And I don't know if you guys got to check any out, but as the hearse was pulling away from the cathedral, the chants of Guy went up again. So it was cool. Hard doing a funeral, I find, from a panel perspective. Yeah. Like panel on funerals is weird, right?
If I could say very quickly, though, I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Lafleur twice. I had dinner with him twice on 2 occasions. And everything they're saying about him, just his warmth and his generosity, is 100% true. What an honor to have spent any time with him at all, and to speak to the hugeness of the massive size of that funeral. I don't think you're going to see in our lifetime another state funeral for another Montreal Canadian again. I think the only guy that might be worthy of it is probably Patrick Waugh, and I just don't think so. I think this is the last one.
Yeah, I would concur. Michael Farber said basically the same thing today, and I don't want to get morbid and talk about who the next big hockey funeral will be. Let's hope there's not one for a long time. But Guy was you had dinner with him twice? Wait a second, are you talking like at banquets or like private meals?
Well, no. This is definitely the first time was a TSN event in 1998. It was a launch party, and then the second time was the Special Olympics dinner. And I had just become manager of Classic at the time, and Rick Chisholm, our then senior vice president of production, arranged that Guy sat beside me. So it was I'll never forget Chiz for that. I still have the signed hockey card, and it was just an amazing night. I spoke with him all night. It was fantastic.
Was it a bit of a working dinner? Did you ask Guy your top 5 games?
No,
so
nothing like that. Nothing like that. I mean, listen, I knew what they were already, first of all, but I mean, it was interesting. I mean, we just had a quick chat, and I asked him at one point. I said, "What was your pre-game meal?" He said, "Ham and eggs." Ham and eggs for this guy.
Had that this morning.
Different era. Right?
All the talk of Guy, and because I had not thought of the town of Thurso, Quebec for years, until Guy's hometown, until it started coming up over the last 10 days. And I had a visceral reaction to it because have any of you driven through Thurso, Quebec? Any chance?
No.
So for
maybe,
whatever,
but I have no idea.
I've probably been to Thurso 100 times, only because it is the way to Mont Tremblant from Ottawa. So we skied a lot when I was growing up, and also when I was a reporter at CJOH, because I spoke French, I would get a lot of the assignments over on the other side of the river in Gatineau or Aylmer or Hull, and Thurso was just down the road past Buckingham.
Did you speak with that accent?
Yeah, I know it's a terrible French accent, but.
Whoa, my lord!
Right now, that's my contractors. I'm so sorry. Hang on.
That
Jesus.
will be noticeable.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to mute. How do I mute this?
So anyway, Thurso was famous for 2 things. One, Guy Lafleur, obviously, and 2, the pulp and paper mill there. Pulp and paper mills stink. No offense to towns with pulp and paper mills. I think Cornwall used to have one. As you approach the town, maybe you get a half a kilometer outside the town, it is like, like a porta potty got dumped on your head.
No, it's that bad?
It's horrendous.
I'm sorry, what is that though? Pulp and paper?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's the result of the process of making the pulp and paper. Again, one of our listeners who are all smarter than us may be able to let us know. But it is wretched. And we would, like, as we approached Thurso, we would pull the sweaters up over our faces or the hoodies, and until we got through the town. And I would ask some of the townsfolk when I had to go there and report. They like anything else, they don't smell it anymore because like once you're there for a day or two or a week or two, I guess it just becomes part of you and you don't notice it anymore. But it is the process
produces a gas like sulfur, basically, and that's what this is.
Yeah.
Hey, we have that same smell sometimes in Wellington, the sulfur smell.
Oh, well, that's not going to sell the place very well.
Oh, I mean,
I don't know
beautiful
about that.
Sulfur. That's sulfur.
That's that good sulfur.
It's a spot.
Sometimes you just need a fresh whiff.
If you're not noticing Lester anymore, Lester had some contractor issues and has put himself on mute. And Lester just going to smile and nod. And as soon as the contractor stopped drilling, he's going to come back on. Is that what we're going to assume here,
I'm
Lester?
still here, man. It's all good. I'm just
there he is.
Chime in when I can.
Okay.
Awesome.
It honestly sounded like they were burrowing a subway tunnel into your house. Yeah.
Well, they've got this pressure thing that they're using to lay the tiles down. So when they actually put the tiles together, they have to use that for a second. So
yeah, the pressure thing. Once again, Tool Talk with the Rubber Boots podcast thing. You got that? They got the pressure thing, and then you go to church and you get the incest, and all that stuff happens.
Incense. It's incense, James.
I think we were Puffy and Stoff wanted to brag about their Leafs. Now, once again, this podcast comes out. This is Tuesday. The podcast comes out Thursday.
So we'll have a 2-0 lead by then.
It was as a neutral figure. I'm the only neutral figure here because Lester, of course, hates the Leafs as a Habs fan. It was incredibly impressive performance. Go ahead, Lester. You can.
I wouldn't say I hate the Leafs. I mean, I prefer to beat them, and I'm happy that we came back from a 3-1 deficit to beat them in 7 games last year. Thank you.
Back on mute. Boom. It's not a mic drop. It's a mute drop.
Who wanted to go to the finals last year when it was like sparse crowds? And
it's true.
It's like this is when you want to win it.
I was at Game 3. It was amazing.
We know, Lester. Remember, you were there, Tim Hortons ads and all the people mauling you on the streets. Instead
of a Shea Weber mini stick, this year you'd be getting a mini golf club for Shea Weber.
Ooh.
I doubt it.
Now with your track record on this podcast.
I am going to get to Stoff's. I'm really excited about Stoff's missive today because I haven't even looked at it. So if you're going to refer to some video or something that you drug up, Stoff always asks us to read the missives before the podcast, and
so the videos I saw section isn't going to fly.
Limited success so far.
There was a look at this picture.
Yeah, there was definitely.
Oh, there was. So let's get. Do we call it things that I saw on TikTok, or what are we doing?
Freaky pics, strange chicks, world affairs, polar bears, fake news, nice shoes, big boobs, jack dudes. All of these things and more as I sat on the shitter. Things that I saw on Twitter.
All right, well, first we'll start. I actually received this email from a member of the Gold Bar League and a friend of the podcast, Mr. Bob Weeks, sent this in. He felt, I guess, it fit our what we do at this podcast.
Hey, can I interrupt for a second? I need to apologize publicly to former NHL goaltender and TSN/ESPN analyst Kevin Weeks, who I referred to the other night on the playoff preview show as Bob Weeks.
I got quite a few texts from that. I actually wasn't watching at the time, but my phone started blowing up.
Oh no!
Well, I'm gonna explain this, and actually, we're gonna have to do 2 segments in one because it's not gonna be a very funny segment, but just a quick segment of dreams.
James has dreams, the dreams he remembers. James has dreams.
I had a horrific dream, like one of the most like once a year, a dream will rattle me. I had a dream last week that I was dying, and they wanted to put me, asked to euthanize me. They said you have they have
might
like
have something to do with Hugo.
I think it might. Hugo and Willow. So
Willow, yeah.
I must have been thinking about her, and so basically they gave me 6 months to live, and they gave me the option of euthanizing me. And so I decided I would be euthanized because I just thought I didn't want to go through the pain. And Bob Weeks showed up with the needle to euthanize me.
What?
And this was not a negative.
Crazy.
Yes, he was being like Bob. I think because I think so fondly of Bob, and like one of the nicest guys in my life. That's why I conjured up someone gentle and kind to come euthanize me. And so Bob came with the big needle, and then I
You'd be
could.
good at it.
It would be a great killer.
Angel of Death, Bob Weeks.
And so I couldn't do it at the last second. Bob said, "Are you sure you want to go through with this?" And I couldn't, and then chose to live, but was still upset. And then I woke up and I was like rattled, like lying in bed for 2 hours because it was one of those dreams that was exceptionally real, and my heart was just absolutely pounding. That's a long way of explaining that I think Bob was on my mind when I did the playoff preview show, and thus called Kevin Weeks Bob Weeks. Sorry, you may go on now. Stop.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that up. The email Bob Weeks sent me is regarding a...
Angel of Death. That nickname might stay.
I think that might be the title for this week's podcast. The Angel of Death, Bob Weeks.
And then just put a shot of Bob up looking sinister.
With the needle.
With the needle.
It's the modern day Dr. Kevorkian. So this is actually an email regarding a adult film site. So basically these guys are, I'm going to paraphrase here because some of the stuff in this might be a little too crude for the podcast. They're critical of Aniel Hernandez, the MLB umpire, who I guess by now has somewhat of a history of getting calls wrong.
He's the worst umpire in the
Wait, you've lost me already. This is a porn email about an MLB umpire, Angel Hernandez.
Yes. So basically what they're right, I guess a couple of days Kyle Schwarber lost his cool on Sunday after he got a strike called wrong or something. So basically,
second time of the game.
This porn site's come up with something they call, or this site is called Cam Soda, and they're promoting basically if the umpire is you over in the game, you also can get
off.
Yes, and basically the simulcast of the game is, I guess, connected or paired with a sex toy at home, and whenever he gets one of the calls wrong, it vibrates, and the more off he is, the more intense the vibration. I won't use some of the wording they used in here, but
we could do this with the podcast. Whenever we got a fact, whenever we got a fact wrong, maybe that should be our first piece of merch.
For the lady in your life.
She will be satisfied. There's no doubt about it.
Puffy says incest.
I might electrocute some poor woman.
Look at Lester's eyes.
So they also mentioned that they've done this with the show season 2 of Bridgerton, which that I guess makes sense because, although apparently season 2 isn't as steamy as season 1
probably would have been.
Wait a second, my mom watches Bridgerton, so what?
Oh Lord!
Christmas gift.
Jimmy, what's a Cam Soda?
Do I drink it?
Dear God.
Okay.
I don't know, but the show, it made some sense with the game. Like, you're already angry at the umpire. Did you really need something prodding at you?
It's Angel Hernandez, right? Or is it? I know it's on Hell. Probably. What is it?
It's I'm not. I think it's
Angel on Hell. Yeah. Anyway, that's I guess a brilliant idea.
Major League Baseball can't get rid of him, so I guess the next best thing is to hook him up to.
Too bad his last name isn't Sanchez.
Yeah.
Jesus. What's wrong with you?
The reaction was the best. Just stone face and then
disdain, staying away.
Is this a sign that Major League Baseball should move on to robot umpires?
Yes. Yes.
Like, is there a reason they wouldn't do it in baseball? Like, this whole thing about the nuance of them moving the strike zone, to me, is completely ridiculous.
I think baseball is just so stuck in its history and old ways and stuff that they're so slow moving. But I do feel that the umpires are doing a very good job of building momentum for their need for especially since like fans have now gotten used to those square boxes on the broadcast, and so you can see when the ball's in and out of the strike zone. So it's, you know, because I remember growing up watching baseball, you know, sometimes it would always be like, oh, that's his strike zone today. And so you'd be like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's a strike today. Where now it's just like there's a box there, and it's just like this guy's having a horrible day. So
not a lot different though from like NHL referees, who's, you know, some guys calling a tight game, some guys calling a loose game, and you sort of have to adapt in the first 10 minutes to whoever the ref is.
Slightly different though, because in hockey that's a gray area. Here they're moving an actual target,
right?
And sometimes they're doing it based on how they feel towards a certain batter.
So the technology, I mean, there's a difference between television technology and actual technology that's 100% accurate. Mm-hmm. Do we know that they have, you know, that what we see on TV is 100% accurate?
Yeah.
I mean, and whatever it is, it's better than
human. Yeah, it's got to be better than the human eye. And I know, I just think the game would benefit, and the only loser would be the tobacco industry.
It's quite amazing that you know,
and
tennis
soda.
Tennis came up with whatever that thing's called. What's the name of the tennis thing? The eye. Yeah, the Hawkeye. And that's what, maybe 10 years now, it feels like, that they've had that?
Yeah, at least they've had it for that long, yeah.
And yet, you would think that, like, even the NHL should have some, it's a little more complicated.
Well, last night when they were reviewing one of the goals, it's kind of like, as someone who watches soccer, they have the goal line technology there that shows you clearly in or out, regardless of what the camera shows. And here, it's kind of just, we're still going, oh, is there a little bit of white in between the puck and the red line?
Like I said, it's harder with a goaltender there, but I'm sure they must have it. Maybe it's just too expensive for them to do. So, anyway.
Poor NHL. All right, so we're all signing up for Cam Sodas for the
I'm in.
Baseball. Now, Jimmy, you sent this next story in here. It was regarding a man named Scott, but when you read the actual story, his name is not Scott. He's hiding his name. And this is a man who basically had surgery to lengthen his legs so that he went from 5'7" to 5'10".
Right, and it's actually a thing. Like, I had never heard of this before. I brought it up with Brooksie, and Brooksie had heard of it.
Get this done a year.
Called lengthening. It's called lengthening. And I knew there was lengthening surgery, but I didn't think it was about height.
But, like,
penis.
Is it dangerous?
I meant penis. Hello? Oh, Jesus.
It's super loud over here. I'm so sorry.
Lester, look how loud it is. Lester's got
so loud.
Lester, somebody in the next room is using the soda. What is it called?
The Cam Soda.
The Cam Soda. He's watching an Angel Hernandez game. It's like a best of Angel Hernandez tape.
Just call a strike.
Please.
Yeah, is there do you think there's got to be an emergency shut-off button? Because what if he goes all over the place? That could be troubling. Anyway,
he's just vacuuming now. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I have no idea what he said.
I thought he was in a subway.
You're gonna to really enjoy Lester's participation on this podcast. You'll have to watch on YouTube because Lester, your assignment for the rest of the pod is to just make funny faces. And
listen, I'm sorry. He just finished there. He just finished. So he's vacuuming. So I don't know what's going on, but I can't see. They're around the corner. I'm so sorry. I apologize to all the listeners.
Oh, this has been great. This is as unprepared as we are. This has been the great content for this pod. Anyway, this procedure to heighten yourself costs $75,000, so it's no cheap fee. Okay. This guy went on to talk about how he was negatively affected in his life by being shorter. I mean, he went through 5'7" to 5'10", which they said is an inch higher than the average man. I'm 5'11", and I always thought I was just below average. I think like 6 foot is average, no?
No,
I don't think so.
In North America?
I am aware because it's still in North America. It's like 5'9" or 5'8" or something. Because I'm 5'10", and people don't believe I'm 5'10". And I've said before, I'm only 5'10" because I have a big head. I have a 5'8" body, but I'm 5'10". 5
feet 9 inches is the average for an American man.
How tall are you? You're 5'11". Lester, what are you?
I'm 5'10" as well. Yeah.
6 feet with the noise though.
Not that bad now. Come on.
And you were 6 feet there, Puffy?
Yeah.
Now, do you guys have like a? Because I realized this very late in life. I don't really have that good of a perception of height. Like I've never really felt shorter than people outside of like someone who's like freakishly tall.
No, see, I'm the opposite. I always feel shorter than I am because I was 4'11" when I was like 14. So I've always felt short, even though I'll look.
I've never like paid attention, and then once I kind of noticed it, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm shorter than certain people, but yeah.
I'm the same. Like I never thought about it ever. I think until I got into this business, and people are cruel in this business, and people start, like guys like O-Dog started calling me short, and I never even had a complex about it before because athletes they're all 6'1", 6'2", whatever, and so 5'10" seems like a widget to that. I think it was actually Aaron Ward who used to make fun of my height more than it. So he basically defeated me and made me feel like a small man.
But the thing that's funny is
now you're going for the surgery.
I don't remember Aaron Ward being that much taller than you. Seriously.
Oh, Aaron Ward's
Wardo's 6'2" or 6'3", I think.
6'3".
NHL player got it on there.
Yeah.
But like it's always funny with actors. Like you see a guy on screen and he looks like he's 6'4". And he's like 5'11".
Tom Cruise is like I think 5'8" or something.
7 or something.
Stallone like 5'6".
I saw
5'7".
Arnold Schwarzenegger's not tall.
Yeah, 5'7" or something like that. Most of them are tiny little people.
Yeah, if they don't look huge on camera, they're short.
Mm-hmm. And yet big heads, large heads, small people with large heads.
Now, I was going to say The Rock is big. The Rock is a big guy, like 6'5" or something like that. Vince Vaughn is apparently a big guy too. Yeah,
Vince, but he looks like 6'8".
Yeah,
right. What would be the height if you could lengthen yourself? And by the way, I don't know if I cut you off on the story stuff, but like it sounds excruciatingly painful. They basically drill holes in your bones and then insert like something in the middle, little rods between them. Like they do this maybe 10 different times on your legs. Incrementally you grow, and it's like a year recovery process to be able to walk normally again.
And like, can you play sports after that? Like, can you run? Can you?
I don't. It's a horrendous idea.
Yeah, it just sounds like you're doing something to yourself that you're not meant to do, and it's probably not gonna end super well. Like
no,
and to be honest with you, being 3 inches taller, I don't understand how this guy thinks it's gonna make a difference. Like I really don't. Well, now I understand.
Listen to women talk.
I'm talking 3 inches taller. We're talking about height.
Yeah. No. But like women will be like, I think height for women is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it is for some.
I can get that.
I agree. Yeah, and I guess that to Jimmy's point, the world just can be a cruel place. So even for some of us, if it's not a big deal, for some short people, I'm sure it's not a huge deal. But for others, they just they carry stuff with them that you want to get past. One interesting thing, I watched a video a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't this procedure. But did you guys know that Messi was actually, when he was a child, he had a growing problem, and doctors told him he would only be 4'7", and so he ended up taking some sort of growth hormone, where he would have to stab himself in each leg once a day, like throughout his youth, and he actually grew to be, I guess, 5'7" now or whatever it is. Like he's a short athlete, but he would have been like really, really small. But I don't think this would have been a procedure that's appropriate for that, because this sounds a lot more painful and a lot more difficult.
And then you have the opposite, where like the gigantism, is it? It's like an Andre the Giant and so on, and they usually don't live long lives.
No.
Giant people, right? Because they're kind of just everything's going at an accelerated rate.
It's the pituitary gland that makes that grow. Makes it grow like that. Yeah.
Pituitary gland?
Yes. I believe so. Yes.
Learned. This is a learned podcast. What else you got, Stoff? Oh, anyway, what do we conclude about this guy? Is he doing all right? He's using a walker, I think, to get around, is he not?
Seriously?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's halfway through his recovery.
That's what the guy said, that he met up with him with a walker.
I mean, look at Scott or whatever your pseudonym is. I hope things go well for you and you get everything you want out of it. But if you did it just to meet a couple more girls, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, look.
And are you going to tell the women that you had the surgery? They might notice the walker.
Yeah, I'd say I got hit by a car.
If you're a 5'6", if you're a smaller man, you just and it's only about relationships and dating, and I guess this would be the same for women. Just date a shorter woman.
There's good looking.
Like I'm a giant when I walk around
love
next to Brooksie's like 5'2" or something like that. I'm a giant. I feel like a giant next
Brooksy's
to her. It's
5'2".
amazing.
See, my perception of height's completely off. I always assume we're all.
What
the
did
same.
you have Brooksie as? 6'1"?
No, I have us all as the same height. I just think
Oh,
every
right.
person in the
Brooks
world's
is
the same height.
as us.
That's how my brain works. It's weird.
Look, like I just
I
think.
would have thought Brooksy is like 5'2", 5'3".
I just think, look, how far are we going to go here? Look, I understand. Look, there's a lot of things that women do. We talk about this, whether it's the breast implants, the butt implants, the Botox, the filler, all that stuff that women do. And we're like, wow, that's
And some
crazy.
men.
You know, and some men too. But I just, when you're 5'7", just that's it. Like, just leave it. What are you supposed to do? Like, to me, that's going too far. That's just me personally. And to answer your question, James, I wish I was 6'1", 6'2". I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would take. I don't want to be too tall. I'd probably take 6 or 6'1". I think I'd be fine. I'd be fine. And like I said, I don't even bother now. I think I'd have just a more. I only think about it now for golf, having longer, smoother golf swing. Most of the guys on tour, although Rory's like 5'9" or something like that. But
No, he's taller than that.
no, he's not. Even Tiger's only 6 feet. I think 5'11", 6 feet. They're not. They're big. When you see them in person, they look big on TV. Like Tiger looks big on TV. He's not. I think Tiger's like 5. Look up Tiger. I think he's like 5'11". And they probably
I'm gonna
exaggerate
say
the athletes.
6'1". I'm gonna say
No,
6'1".
I think they exaggerate the athletes. I've interviewed him
James, he
face to
looked me
face,
in the
Puffy.
eyes.
Puffy.
He's
Oh
looked
yes,
me
he
in the
did.
eyes.
He did too. Plus, he's got the spikes on.
Oh, you got
He's
shoes.
185 centimeters.
Okay, let me see that.
Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. 2.2 divided by 2.2 times 12
Like from Cyprus.
over
72,
feet.
almost 73 inches.
It just says 6 feet.
71.
6 feet. Yes,
feet.
that's what I got.
All right. I think, but athletes also lie a little bit, so I have him at 5'11". I think I'm right.
I say you're wrong.
What else, Stoff?
Well, you just mentioned Rory, so we have some bet safe
Let's say
breaking
news.
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 Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Nailed.
Oh, am I on delay now?
We did it. All right,
I
so
did a
TaylorMade
fake delay.
TaylorMade golf.
Did a fake delay to feel Lester, make Lester feel at home.
Well,
I
you
did
don't
a
have the
fake
noise
delay.
to match, so. We have some bet-safe breaking news about Rory McIlroy, courtesy of our friends at Golf Talk Canada.
TaylorMade.
And TaylorMade, who has extended Rory McIlroy's, sponsorship, or being his clubs of choice. So I thought that's a hell of a reason to celebrate. It's a good way to mention how the winner of the Gold Bar League will be receiving a driver from TaylorMade. And we're also asking if Stoff and Lester are next for their extensions with TaylorMade.
As they should be. I'll talk to Nick about that.
Now that we got Rory sewed up,
They never even heard of us.
They wanted to get that deal done first.
This is gonna make you guys more angry, but I wanted to share it. It's a free plug. I have a new clothing sponsor.
Come on.
So
Gucci.
yeah,
It's gotta be
so
Gucci.
2 years ago, a brand called Johnny O brand gave us our clothing for the Masters, and it was the best dang clothing I've ever had. Like you quite often the Masters stuff, I don't necessarily love. The stuff that this year was good from FootJoy, but this Johnny O stuff was like, it just fit me perfect. My sleek muscular frame.
Accentuated your pecs.
And so Johnny O brand, and then through my beloved guy who basically is our business manager, Jeff Dykeman, the Johnny O brand, they reached out to me, and now I'm going to be wearing the Johnny O stuff all over the place. And I can't tell you how excited I am, because this is not some flimsy sponsorship. I legitimately love all of it. And about 10 golf shirts showed up in the thing today. I will try to get you guys some Johnny O stuff. I need your sizes.
Can you get us some Johnny O? I like Johnny O.
It is freaking fantastic. So, sorry. I'm excited today, because I don't, when free stuff shows up at your house, you get excited, and Johnny O stuff's my favorite stuff. Move along.
Nice.
Alrighty, now moving on to the picture that I asked. Moving on to the picture I asked everyone to look at.
I looked at it.
Oh, what was it?
It is a salted herring sandwich from Germany, more specifically the club of FC Energy Cottbus. And you kind of have to see it to believe it because it's a
fish, like literally looks
it has
like
the fish has scales on it still.
Yeah.
It's
I'm looking.
between
I'm
two
trying to
pieces
find
of bread
it.
and some piece of like purple, I guess, lettuce.
Oh.
To eat that whole thing, I honestly think I would need to be paid like $15,000.
Well,
What's the stuff? It looks like it's got a mohawk, the fish.
I think that's
I don't think I could do it.
Oh, that's lettuce hanging out one side?
Just the purple lettuce, probably the most normal part of that sandwich.
Oh, that's disgusting.
It's 2 pounds. That's what it would cost you. But yeah, I don't know if that might be a tough sell. But in Germany, Germany, apparently this is a thing where like sardines, all that kind of stuff. So
right. Do you guys, when you let's say you're in the Mediterranean, this happens in Turk sometimes or whatever. I'm personally, I don't like it when they bring the head of the fish. Which is over there, certainly in Europe, that's what you're supposed to do, and they sometimes take offense to the fact that you want it filleted and you just want your little fillet thing. When they bring the head of the fish, I can't do it.
I'll be very honest with you guys. I wish I was 6'2", so I could have a little more height and distance to throw this fish back into the ocean, because I would never ever eat this. Sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
See, I tied that together.
Well,
like that?
I mean, technically, height wouldn't help you throw the fish further into the ocean, I guess. So.
It will also cost you $75,000 just to get rid of the 2 pound sandwich. But each his own. All right, let's move on to the story that's taken the internet by storm, and that is Pete Davidson's new tattoo. A lot of people have seen a new tattoo on his neck that has the initials KNSCP, which would be for Kim and her 4 children, North, Saint, Chicago, and Psalm, in the order of their age. Now, obviously, they've been going out for a little while. The internet is divided on this, whether it's sweet or weird. I'm definitely leaning more in the weird category. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I just think things move so fast with the stars. Remember we had the Taylor Swift discussion about Jake Gyllenhaal and also All Too Well, which I still can't get the title of that song right, even though I listen to it, the 10-minute version usually every day. Just gets me in the mood for it.
Get a good cry in.
Put a little sob in before work. God damn it, Jake, why did you leave her, man?
Why don't you take the scarf?
Anyway, and we found out they only dated for 3 months. And I'm like, how can you write the song and still be lingering on it when you dated for 3 months? And I think the neck the face. It's like a neck tattoo.
It's like around here, yeah.
A neck tattoo. So
yeah, that's
what are they
small.
put together?
It's not big. But now also, Pete tattoos stupid all over his body all times. He has tons of tattoos.
Yeah, but you got to get a year or two in a relationship before you get a neck
branded
tattoo.
on him already. Branded, and he has several tattoos dedicated to her, which I guess for his type, that's fine. It's just like, it's her kids with someone else, and it's also a woman who's been divorced 3 times. Like,
has she?
Yeah.
Who else?
3 times? Who else she married?
Yeah, there was a music, there was a songwriter first, then there was the basketball player, what's his name?
Chris Humphries?
Humphries, no, Odom was the other.
Was she married to him? I didn't realize.
Humphries and then Kanye. Kanye was actually the longest one, which is pretty shocking. But
one of our makeup.
None of them were the video I saw.
No, that was
wow.
They were consummating
one of our makeup artists dated Chris Humphries.
Really?
Before Kim Kardashian.
Wow.
I dated that same makeup artist. So I got her tattoo right here. Look.
How many?
Pete, it's ridiculous. Like this, like you got to think about the kids here, right? Why kids don't want their names on the baby?
Maybe they do.
Dad in town. No,
I don't think they do. And it's also like, look,
no chance. And his dad died. He knows better.
Kanye has acted completely inappropriately throughout this whole thing. And so, and this is no way in siding with him, but at the same time, I don't think there's a need to egg someone like that on either. And and I understand, like, Pete may feel that he's been pushed into a corner, but this is a little much.
You don't involve someone's
I don't like it. It actually speaks to kind of using the kids as a pawn, and I don't like that at all. So, listen, he can title, it's his body, he can do whatever he wants, but for me, I prefer he stay away from the kids and tattoos. That's just me.
How many seasons do we have to do of the podcast for me to get KPL on my neck?
Oh, wow. I think it was season 6.
Yeah, we've
Let's
passed
get
that
to
point.
10.
Or maybe just KP because L might get fired.
Ooh. As long as it's a fake.
Take my initial off your body. Take my initial off your body.
Take your goddamn initial.
Oh, terrible.
All right, moving on.
Is that it for the show?
Well, we can do some listener mail if you're interested.
Oh,
in
okay.
what,
Listener
Nation has.
mail.
Listener mail. Thank you for listening.
We'll start off with our good friend Shawn Morrison, and he's chiming in from season 2, episode 11.
You know what? I'm going to get a Shawn Morrison tattoo on my neck before you three guys.
He should. He's clearly dedicated to us, so might as well return the favor. Season 2, episode 11. He writes in, at almost the end of the podcast, James asks the question: what will happen first? Tiger win another major, or have another scandal? That was closer than most figured, so we kind of foreshadowing on our behalf.
Exactly.
Wait,
Job by us.
Because that was before his
he
film,
won.
and it was before he obviously won the Masters. So
Wow.
and before the accident, obviously. So
We are a prophetic podcast.
I know I picked him to win a major. I always believed.
Yeah, that's true.
extra
You got
gold
this,
bar for
Tiger.
Puffy.
You got this, Tiger.
Now, Shawn Morrison also made an appearance in the chat on Thursday night, our premiere chat, and I will say it's like the whole room stopped. He was like a celebrity sighting. So yeah, people loving Shawn Morrison.
Speaking of chats, do you guys get spam texts at all?
Yeah, WhatsApp.
Yes,
I get a
all the
lot of
time.
WhatsApp ones.
Okay, but on my actual phone last night, I got a text from a 647 number that is not identified that says, "Hey, what's up? You feel like having some fun?" And then the next thing comes and it's a photo of a woman like taking off her top.
Those are spam? Damn, I thought I was on a hot streak.
Puffy's been topping up their cash apps.
No, what I gotta say, O-Dog was looking over my shoulder going, "Don't delete that. What's that number?" No. But it freaked me out a little bit because, like, first of all, I took 10 seconds to think, is this some person from my past that's gone cuckoo? No. It was spam, clearly. You know, it was one of those stock photos that bots use, and it was a bot text. But how do they have my cell, and how's it coming from a 647 number, which is our
Russian.
You
area?
signed up for
It's
something.
the rush.
Those people sold your info to someone else.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
There it is right now. There's another call coming.
Yeah, that's
Oh, geez.
that's Nancy.
I just FaceTime myself, it seems like. That's weird.
First time
Okay.
for everything.
Okay, keep going. Listener mail.
So I see Puffy, I think, is distracted there with Welly, and that's fitting for our next piece of mail. As David Carson writes in, new puppy may be called Welly as a homage to Wellington County, but Wellingtons are also another name for rubber boots.
Whoa!
Welly.
Whoa!
Look at that.
That's crazy.
There you go.
Replacing the Willow as the mascot of the podcast. That's
Welly
unbelievable.
Sometimes she gets a little bit like Cujo.
Can you find that
bit
picture?
better.
Can you find that picture of Welly that you showed me and like put it up to the screen so
think so.
we can show the people? That's one of the cutest photos I've ever seen. This is the way Welly sleeps sometimes on the couch.
Look at it.
Yeah, she's super cute, Puffy.
Just don't
Once
show us
again,
one
you'll
of
have
the
to
pictures from the random numbers, Puff.
you'll have to go to YouTube.
It's a bit of a mine.
There you go. That's a real.
Oh, come
that's a
on,
real.
man. You stretch it out like
doesn't-
that? You crazy.
That doesn't
That's
look
crazy.
like a real dog.
Yeah.
That looks like a
It's a
sock.
little stiff, but
I know.
out cold. Nice.
Cold. Hard day's day for the puppy.
That's it. Matthew writes in, love Lester McLean's music as always. Lester and Stoff, not sure why he's asking me, but he says, how long does it take for you to sing and record each segment jingle? Thank you and take care. So I'll throw that to Lester.
Legitimate questions. Good question.
Listen, thank you for
I'm
your
curious.
question. It all depends on what the content is. Obviously, something like the theme song, you take a little more time to think about the pod in general and ask and sort of answer those questions and try to come up with some music from there. But something like Listener Mail, guess what? It's just a quick jam. It didn't take very long at all. So that's my answer. as best I can for now.
One of the makeup artists, not the same one who dated Chris Humphries, told me today that she mistakenly, during a deep dive into something else, discovered "Don't Take My Goal Away" on the YouTube. And she was more than a little impressed.
That was great.
Yes.
That was a fine job by you, James. You know what? The production on that I think is great. And to that end, we have a little project that we're going to work on to reignite another song that's a hit. So stay tuned, everybody.
Yes.
Is this Hall and Ass finally, or?
No, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm just nodding like knowingly.
I talked to you about this last week. Do you not remember?
Oh yeah, I do.
It was on the it was in our podcast title.
You know my memory now, Lester. You have to repeat things 4 times. I know exactly what you're talking about. We have to get at it, but we have to do some of the originals as well.
That's exactly for sure.
Moving on, I'm not going to read all of his rants, but John Pinkerton was not pleased with Jimmy's Philly bashing last week. He's appears a fan of the Flyers, the Sixers, and every other Philadelphia team.
I wonder if it was... Oh, it wouldn't have been John Pinkerton, but our buddy Kevin Pratt tweeted last night that somebody showed up. He saw him at Union Station. I guess he was going to the hockey game, and he had a Tampa Bay Lightning jersey on, a Yankees cap, and a Sixers jacket. just like a triple diss
Captain
of
Bam.
Toronto.
Bam. 2 out of 3 for him last night.
He's not invited to the parade.
There was also this tweet that I retweeted from our account that was of a gentleman selling a stand for his TV, and what was humorous about this, it had Jimmy on the screen of the TV. However, it then turned out that this post was from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Which I was shocked to learn, and I realized what had happened is, I guess, you know, like when you have certain bots that follow you, they'll go back in your history and like a photo.
Yes.
So I guess this happened to the guy who tweeted this in, and I just got an alert that we were liked on a photo we were mentioned in, and hence the 2 year
Well,
tweet
like
made its rounds.
Twitter somewhere along the way changed it so, like, if I like something and you follow me, it goes into your feed, which I don't... Like, I end up with stuff in my feed that... And I don't know why they do that.
It's almost like they're
do.
suggesting stuff for you based on
right,
the
where you just
follow,
hit a like button, which is done. But
don't worry, Elon's gonna fix all that.
I've fallen for that like 6 times, Stoff, where something's popped into my feed and I've replied to the person and they get back to me and go like, I sent you this 9 years ago, you idiot.
And you wonder why you're getting calls from 647 numbers you don't recognize. You know?
I suppose you're right.
The past is catching up to you, James.
I suppose you're right.
Chewy Louie asks, some people are saying that Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter is a bigger plan to control the metaverse before Zuckerberg does. I don't really know what that means, but I guess if I have to pick between those two, I'll go with Musk too. Like Zuckerberg's literally done research on things that were proven evil and decided to support them. So.
Yeah, like I think that Elon's kind of a DB, but at least he's public with it, whereas Zuckerberg is like quietly evil.
Yeah.
So I get that.
That's kind of what I get. Baz Watson asks who would win in a meta boxing ring, Musk or Zuck. So I really don't know.
Jake Paul.
More than likely. Baz also clarifying for us what Othello is. Othello is a game with 2 players play with dots, white on one side, black on the other. Aim is to make the board your color.
Oh, like the Lester and Stoff pod.
Yeah.
White on one side, black on the other.
Wow.
True.
Wow.
Maybe you should rename it Othello.
The Othello podcast.
The Othello fellows.
Wasn't Othello a character in like Shakespeare or something?
Yeah, it was a play.
Yes,
Othello
you
was
were
a
correct,
famous
you were correct,
Shakespearean
yes.
play.
Oh.
Yeah.
A character in the play named Othello.
Am
Which
I
was
wrong?
also the play.
No, he's not wrong.
No, he is a character.
Yes.
He's a character.
Othello.
Was English not mandatory in Bradford High School or whatever?
Hey, English is my second language. Give me a break.
That's
He
true,
is a
actually.
second line. He was in ESL class for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't.
And we watched Mighty Ducks movies. We didn't have Othello.
No, Othello's not translated into Polish.
No, they would just roll the VCR in and put in the Mighty Ducks trilogy. That was ESL.
Teachers out smoking.
100%. Like, it was quite hilarious, actually. Chewy saying this might be Stoff's last season on the pod, or he's going to start drinking heavily.
already there.
I like the options. Shawn Morrison in the chat asking, can I get a gold bar and give it to Stoff? Which I said I will check with the commissioner. The commissioner has come back and said yes.
Wow. Terrible. Terrible.
Right,
corruption. You're talking about corruption. That's corruption right there.
That's fine. I don't need
It's like worse than FIFA. Gold Bar League is...
Jeez. That's harsh.
That's very harsh. Wow.
Speaking of worse than FIFA, we move on to...
Now, if FIFA monitors all podcasts and has control over the host duties at the FIFA World Cup in 2022, I take back all of my comments about FIFA.
Imagine the end of November, like that clip just starts circulating.
My name's Shane Dussey. I categorically deny everything I ever said on the Rubber Boots podcast about FIFA. Thank you.
Welcome to the 2022 World Cup. I'm Lindsay Hamilton.
Filling in for James.
Gunshot fire at the end of that one.
Still firing.
It's drilling now. I'm gonna have to abstain. Here we go.
Oh, all right. Gold Bar League. Let's go.
I love gold, and so do you. Do 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 do. Join the Gold Bar League, and you can have some too. Do 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 do. It's the Gold Bar League. Come on and join the Gold Bar League.
Okay, like Stoff, I know you're going to get to it, but are you going to get to the story of the week in the Gold Bar League, or does that wait till you get through the on-camera people?
I was going to go in the order I wrote things in, so we could follow along. However, I don't even know what the breaking news is, but
what is the story of the week?
I know what the story of the week is that one of the perceived Gold Bar experts, like basically one of the name franchises in the league, I would say. Yeah. One of the OGs, the marquee members.
We'll get to that, yes. I think
I just got cut off. And let's go to commercial.
Well, I mean, yeah, we can skip ahead to that part.
FIFA has just shut you down.
Jeez. The commission's like all powerful now. He's like, yeah, stop you in mid-sentence. I will get to it in my own time. You rat-ass bastard.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Speaking of rat-ass bastards, Chewy Louie asks, when do we talk about Andrew Arsenal costing me a perfect week? Because they were teamed up together and Poe and AK won instead. So a little rivalry brewing there. Wow. Might have to keep our eyes on that one. Some guy from Coburg says,
I like him.
GBL race tighter than Jimmy's sleeves at the Masters. Correct and burn.
Wow.
Shots fired.
Yeah. But he is right. Very tight race in the last week here. Chewy Louie also saying Puffy needs to step up his game, or else he just needs to step aside and let the big boys play.
Ooh, that's fighting words right there.
And so we recap week 9 by the numbers. 11 gold bars up for grabs. No one got a perfect 11. Only 2 people got 8 out of 11. And those were Brooksie's Other Man and Charles Charlie G.
Jeez, what's going on there?
Brooksy's Other Man, 8 gold bars. Not too bad. The average for this week, 2.95, so just under 3 bars at 11. Not doing so great. And along the lines of not doing so great, 15 people went over.
Wow. Wait a second. There was like, how many props did you have?
So we had 7 props for 11 bars. Now, it is a bit trickier to go perfect because several props were worth 2 bars, but they also had multiple choices. So that would explain that. Further compounding to this was the fact that the single props we had were so heavily skewed by people's choices and went the other way. So like the one that 10% of people took would have won. So hence quite a few people got 0, including yours truly.
Wow.
So yeah.
I
went over. I got 1 gold bar thanks to the premiere. And that L's not appropriate, Jimmy. I still finished that at you.
Right. I think I missed 4 weeks.
I said I thought the props were diabolical this week. They were diabolical, man. How many did I end up with?
They're tough.
I think you got 4. I think you went 4. I believe Jimmy had 3.
Does that include the one I got
3
for
or
being
4.
on the premiere of the
Yes,
pod?
yes, yeah.
I showed up for that, didn't I, this week?
Thank God I did that.
That's a negative.
No, it was your bot.
Now, to just touch on our April standings, Sam and Chewy Louie both finished April with 26 bars. No need for a playoff because either way, they're both in the top 8, so they're going to both advance. So now going on to our final standings. Finishing first in the GBL regular season, Sam, 40 gold bars. The only man to hit the 40 mark. Chewy Louie finished behind him with 39. Gold McDonald with 38. Same for Pharma Mag 1. Some guy from Coburg, Matt, Marcus, Matt Gattafoni, and Andrew Arsenault, all with 37. So all those guys automatically in for the Platinum League. Now, so there is a tie.
What about Ho? We buried the lead.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh,
You guys don't know how an unveil works, do you?
Let the man build the shit. Thank you.
So there's one remaining in the Prophetic Conference spot, but there's a tie at 36 bars. Will Murray and the aforementioned Ho. The aforementioned Ho did not submit his picks this week. Hence, if he would have just got 1 gold bar and not gone over like me, he would have, but so what did save him, actually, he would have been in a far worse situation, but what saved him is he did show up to the premiere and got his bonus gold bar, tying him with Will Murray. So now him and Will have a playoff.
Love it.
And the winner of that moves on into the Platinum League. The loser of that will still have a chance to win, to play someone else for an entry in the following week. So Will Murray and Ho still have their shots.
Let's go, Ho.
Han Solo will also
it's a hoedown.
It's a hoedown.
In fairness to Ho, he was very busy on Saturday leading a girls volleyball team to 3rd place at provincial.
Moving on to what everyone cares about the most.
Jesus.
They're shooting.
What is going on there?
Podcast has been terrifying.
The talent division, final standings. AK wins with 38. Congratulations.
Shocking.
Aaron Korolek
Whatever.
moves on to the
I
Platinum
could
League.
bet on that.
You know, the sad thing is that's probably the greatest achievement of his career.
Yeah, not hosting the morning show. This.
Morning show.
Look, he's won 2 of these contests to make it to the Platinum League now.
Until he beats me at golf, this is the single greatest thing he's ever done. Way to go. Give him a pennant.
At least he gets to play.
He'll never get knocked out of the talent division. He's permanently going to be there.
Well, the talent division is expanding. I finished in 2nd with 34. James 3rd with 31. Lester with 28.
On the podium.
Bronze medal, baby.
I'd like
So
to
does
point
that
out.
mean you guys stay in the talent division and Lester's out, right?
Yeah,
No,
Lester's
not yet.
off.
I will get to that.
Lester's off the
What do
pod.
you mean? I was out when I finished last.
I know, but as I said, the division's expanding. Hence, the first up division winner, Bob Weeks, will automatically be entered into the talent division next year.
Oh, okay.
Now, the 2nd and 3rd place we're supposed to play, and the winner of that would play Lester. However, we now have a tie for 3rd in the first up division at 25 between Claus and Carlo. So the winner of those 2 will face Puffy, and the winner of that will face Lester to decide who will be in the division next year.
Honestly, we are 2 years away from none of us being in the talent.
It's, yeah,
Like, that is what's going to happen.
it's the old caboclo,
It's
2
gonna be
years
like
away.
Chewy Louie. Guy
They'll
from
also be
Coburg.
hosting, so
We'll be watching
at
their
least they'll read my
podcast.
notes.
Granted, anyone who's listened to the pod for multiple seasons would have difficulty calling us talent anyway.
Anyway, I should mention that Kevin Weeks, or Bob Weeks, as he's known by, 33 gold bars. He wins the first up division. Came out of nowhere to do it.
So he's going to be playing against me?
So he's playing against you, and the
So
winner,
he's gonna euthanize me. The dream's gonna come true.
that is true. He might actually euthanize you, and then the winner of that matchup will play me for an entry into the Platinum League.
But next year, Bob Weeks is in the talent division?
Yes, automatically. And another person from that division as well will join
So
if
I
they
have
can
to
beat
do-
Lester.
Oh, okay.
So
Beat Lester?
we're like the World Cup. We're
You
going
have
from
to
like
beat
32 to
Lester
48.
and Carlo or next year we'll also be expanding. It'll be a 32 team Platinum League. So
We should create franchises and people buy their way in.
you know what I contemplated doing for you, Puffy, since you didn't make the Platinum League, creating a Europa style league. Or for the North Americans, like the NIT tournament, where
or Europa Nation League, or whatever it's
conference.
Conference.
Yes. Yeah, something like that, just so everyone else still has something to do. So yeah, AK onto the Platinum League, Bob versus James, them playing me. We just went over the relegation scenario, so that's it. And of course, we have our last minute tournament this week. Those props will come out on Friday afternoon at some point. They will be due on Saturday at 2:45. It's going to be a crap load of props. And the winner of that gets into the Platinum League automatically. Finishers second and third will have a chance to play in as well. So,
Okay.
join, play. Puffy, you can still make it that way as well, by the way. This is open to talent to everybody. So
Back door.
but it's
Backdoor in.
It's gonna be a grind. There's a lot of props. I've been working on these all day yesterday. So.
Okay, pay attention to the Twitter feed and the Instagram feed, because there's a possibility we won't be doing a pod next week. So we may be off a week. Not 100% sure yet, but make sure the Gold Bar League continues. And again, these are playoff times to get your way into the Platinum League, so don't forget to do that. Besides that, Stoff, Puffy, good luck to your Leafs.
Thank you.
Lester, good luck to your Habs in the draft lottery.
Thank you. Listen, we need it. We'll take it, man. Listen.
And,
Look, you're laughing. You're not that far from getting Austin Matthews there, Puff. So you can see how things can turn around quite quickly. So.
We're in the height of our glory years right now.
We didn't bother you during your run last year.
I'm not
We
saying,
have a
I'm
lot
not
of
bothering you. Listen. Let me say for the record before we go here, because I listen. I don't have anything against the Leafs. I got lots of friends and Leaf fans. I'm a Torontonian as well. As much as I would love to see my team win a cup before Toronto, I'm a Torontonian. I'd love to see what would happen if they actually got to the final. So I wish you well. I really do. No ill feelings.
Oh, that's sweet. We have a lot of listeners in Alberta. I know that. So we're not the Oilers and the Flames. We wish them the best of luck as well. The Oilers down by a game as we tape this right now, trying to even things up. Calgary playing game 1 tonight. All of this is dated information, but I'm sure it'll seem fresh and relative to you when you listen to the Rubber Boots podcast this week. So thanks for listening, everybody.
All right, a couple.
I was assuming.
Pause for laughter.
I'm assuming you're gonna tighten this up in editing.
Well, it's just like when Stoff controls the show, he has to dig up on his computer and he has to scroll, and so there's always that one
There's
second.
an awkward silence.
He'll tighten it up.
I'll work on my transitions. I will work on my transitions.
Hey, how are you? I got a question that I really wanna ask you. Wait, don't hang up. I need to know, so I'm gonna try and push my luck. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, blue, black, or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? And do you like the dunk tank at the fair? I know it's a little strange, my obsession with your choice of footwear in the rain. I know that you're on TV, but I need you to put your boots up on the desk for me. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, blue, black, or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? And do you like the dunk tank at the fair? This is the part they call the bridge. A bridge has water under it. With rubber boots you can wade in the water. Just don't fall in. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, blue, black, or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? And do you like a dunk tank at the fair? bad. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? No, seriously. Are you wearing your rubber boots? Don't hang up, please. Somebody? Anyone?